Good morning, Village's Democrats. How are you this morning? Thank you very much for giving me a couple of minutes to speak. I know you had a guest who was not able to show up this morning. So let me first tell you I'm on vacation, but I'm not. I'm here. I went back to work teaching in Hernando County at Springstead High School, and I have loved my experience. And next year I'll be moving to a middle school in Hernando County, Gulf Coast Academy. So being back in the classroom is a wonderful experience. It's back to my roots, and it's back to what I think is one of the most important things that we need to work on as Democrats, as U.S. citizens, and that is education. So when we look at education, we talk to our neighbors and we talk to our students, we talk to our grandchildren. And how do we get a message across? It's through knowledge. So what I'd like to challenge all of you to do today is, any of you who have a child home, a grandchild, is go home, get online somewhere, and buy them a book and send them a book. Send them a book that was one of your favorites to read when you were growing up, and engage in conversation with your children or with your grandchildren about that book, even if it's about Peter Rabbit. Because we cannot stop reading as a nation, and we cannot stop educating ourselves as a nation, because through education is power, and through education is social mobility, and through education we will stop war, and through education we will stop and end poverty. And those are the things that are important to my heart, and that is why I'm running for office. We need to educate people. We need to leave this world better than we found it for those who come after us. But we also need to make sure that this world is safe and a good place to be for those who are in their senior years. My grandmother, God bless her, she's 99 right now. She's going to be 100 in 2020. And the best gift that I could give her is to win this election. My grandma's a Democrat through and through, and she is adorable. She talks and she shares stories of growing up and working in the Civilian Conservation Corps. She met my grandfather working at the World Fair back in 1939 as part of the Civilian Conservation Corps. And she shares stories about voting and who she voted for in Kennedy and Roosevelt. And they touch my heart when she shares these stories with me, and I try to capture them on video. Because again, that is the education that we need to see the advances and the success that Democrats have brought us throughout time. And we need to share that with our children. And the last thing we all need to read, if you haven't read it yet, is the Mueller report. So now I am 3/4 of the way through. And one of the things that I need to ask is, do you do what's right, or do you do what gets you reelected? And you need to do what's right. Even that, if that loses you votes, you have to live with yourself at the end of the day. You have to go home and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I did the right thing. And stand up for that, because history will see that. And in hindsight, you will see that. And it will look back and show that you did the right thing. And that's important, that we stand up and do the right thing. And that's what I tell people when I'm speaking to them about what's going on in Congress right now. And that's the message I would give Nancy Pelosi. Because once it comes out and we do the right thing, it's on everyone else. One of the things that I ran on in 2018, and I'll run on again in 2020, and it frustrates me, and I yell at the TV when I listen to the pundits talking about, well, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? The way we fix this is we take away power from the majority party. And that goes either way. That goes for Nancy in the House, and it goes for McConnell in the Senate. We need to share power. And so for every two pieces of legislation, I've said this in 2018, I'll say it again, we need to change the rules of the way the House runs. For every two pieces of legislation the majority party brings to the floor, the minority party needs to be allowed to bring one piece of legislation to the floor. We have cut off the voice of 50% of the American people. And if you look at the numbers of Democrats in our nation, Democrats outnumber Republicans. So why are we in the minority? Because of the way that the gerrymandering has gone, but also population density across the states, across the United States. And that is a huge issue. California, I don't know if you know, they went to an initiative to make 3 states out of 1. Of course, they voted it in, but then it got put down by the courts. They said, you can't do that, we're 1 state. But just think, if California now had 6 senators instead of 2 with their population density. So it makes a huge difference when we look at this, and it's something, again, go home and read about it and research, because reading is fundamental, right? Getting back to our roots. Those are just some of the things that I'll be working on in 2020. We do need your support. It's so nice to see so many new members. I said to Dee, I said, there's a lot of new people here today, and she said, yes. I thank you for a couple of minutes to be able to speak. Go home, read about my campaign, please. It's dana2020.com. We have the whole summer. If you'd like to host a house party, we'd love to come to your house and speak with you and your friends and neighbors in small groups so that you get more familiarity. Learn about what we're running on in our campaign and our platform. And I cannot thank you enough for being here today.